Hey cycling community, this is Steve Grusis, the Cycling Greek. What you're seeing on the screen right now is we are approaching the cattle pin climb toward the end of the first lap of the Snelling Road Race 55 plus category. Why we call it the cattle pin climb, even though there's no cattle pins there, is that we used to have a lot of cows over on the left side. And there was one year when I was racing this in the rain. We had a lot of rain going down the climb. We had a lot of rain going from one end of the road to the other end. And it was muddy. And we were all caked in mud when we finished. And we thought we were cool because it was like being in the Paris-Roubaix. Then all of a sudden, one of us took a sniff and realized it was more than mud. We were caked in cow shit. Those were the days. So the reason I started at this point is that the race seemed to pick up and I was outputting a lot more wattage just to hang on with these guys. Now I started racing in 1990. Right now I'm 62, racing age is 62 in this 55 plus category race. So I started racing in 1990 at the age of 35 before there were Cat 5s, I believe. And so I did a lot of 4s, did a lot of Master 4s, and also 35 plus races. And I was real strong in the 4s and Master 4s, and I would do well enough to have fun in the 35s. I noticed when I turned about 43 or 44, things got considerably harder for me in the 35s. Then when I turned 45 and I started doing 45 plus races, then I was very strong in that category at that time. I was always vying for a win in that first year, and I think the last win that I had was when I was 46, maybe 47. It was the third stage, the road race stage of the Madeira stage race. By the time I hit 49, there was quite a change in the 45s. It got a lot harder for me. And so I was no longer vying for wins. I was just trying to hang on with these guys. And so that lasted for about another 6 years. Then I get up to the 55s. So I figure I'm going to have a couple good years like I did in the 45s when I first moved up there. But that was not the case. Everyone that was under 60 was strong. While for a couple years I was doing better than just hanging on with this group, I could tell something was different than previous times I would upgrade to a 10-year category. Fortunately, I had other teammates in the 55s that I got to play domestique for. That was a lot of fun. Fast forward to now, again, 62-year racing age. My other teammates, through obligations for family and work, are not able to race as much. In the meantime, I changed up my training and I'm a lot stronger on the flats than I have been in past years. In fact, about 4 days before this race, I did a time trial test. I did about 22 minutes at a 312 watt average, and that's approaching what I used to do some years back. With this being the end of week 3 of my 4-week mini comeback, I figured I'd have a good race today. Little did I know that that was not going to be the case. Starting from the cattle pin climb, I was producing over 500 to 600 watts on the flats just to stay with the group. By the end of Blood Alley, where the section that we're on now, I was starting to get worn out. And I was letting people pass so I can grab a wheel and hopefully get back up on the group, which I did. Blood Alley. It got its name some years back. It used to be a real bad section of road that led into this right turn that you're seeing right now that led to the finish. And there were often crashes there, and the crashes, if you were lucky, was just road rash, but the road rash on these very bad roads was very bad. A few years ago, as I turned onto Blood Alley, I saw that they had repaved it, but the way it felt, it seemed like they just painted it black. Actually, it was a little better than that. Back to the screen. We just passed what will be our finish line, and we're starting lap 2. We're heading to a right turn which will lead into a couple of rollers, maybe like 3 or 4 rollers, and then we'll go into a straight dead flat. But these rollers, these guys just hit it hard. So now I'm punching out a lot of wattage. I get back up to them and I'm thinking I'm with them, but then when I look up ahead, I see one long drawn out string. The wind's coming from right to left and we're being guttered, and I'm starting to lose it right here. Still pushing over 300 watts, and these guys are just going past me, then that's it. So at this point, I decide I still need to get a workout. I'm not going to go all this way, pay this money, and just get depressed and discouraged and go to the car. So I go into a time trial mode, I catch some other people, and eventually we have about maybe as much as 10 people. And a few of us are treating it as a breakaway. So we're taking pulls, and then we catch this guy in the white stripe there that you see up in front, about half a lap to go. And then this guy, once we get on his wheel, he just increases the pace, and he's going so fast that the guy in front of me doesn't want to pull through, so I'm not going to pull through. So now we're on Blood Alley. We have a couple guys that attack, and this guy that's been pulling this whole way just pulls himself up to those two guys. It's taking me much longer to reconnect, but I do reconnect right before the right turn that leads to the finish. Now, we're seeing these three guys in front of me, but there's a lot more guys behind me, and they're happy enough for me to pull them up there, of course. You will see that once we turn and start our sprint, that my legs are going to die out, everyone is going to go past me, and I probably finish like last in the group. I don't know if there's anybody else behind me when I finish. Good thing I love to race. I love training to race. I don't know what's going on. It could be that at age 62, I just can't maintain the wattage and speed like I used to when I was younger. Still, I'm going to try and solve that. I'm going to try different things, and I've actually been trying different things this year, which is one reason why my wattage has increased on my time trial. Now, I did get sick a couple days after this race, but I think it was more because of getting run down from the accumulation of everything I did during this race weekend. My next race is going to be in Southern California in a couple weeks. It'll be the Chuck Pontius time trial. The reason I'm going down there is to advertise my race that I'm putting on, the Ventana Hills Circuit Race. Hope you enjoyed this video. Remember, comment, like, subscribe. The Cycling Greek.